Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's section reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The decks and dice information that'll be below. Other than that, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's also below. I'll repeat this at the end, of course. All right, and let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. I don't know why that made me laugh. I'm like, hello, Aries. Let's see what we have for Aries. These are valid for whenever you come to them. There's some energy. It's kind of funny, but I don't know. It's also kind of like, what's happening? It's one of those things. Let's see where it goes. So, two. All right, so whatever this is, it can be romance. It doesn't have to be romance. I'm saying that because this card is here. So it could be a work situation, could be a social situation, whatever you got going on. Could be a family situation. You felt very self-sufficient and not in the need of anybody else. And very confident and comfortable with that. So if it was romance, you probably, I would say you've been single for maybe for a while and very comfortable with that. If it's a business situation, you've been very dependent on your own movement forward and you haven't needed anybody else to help you move forward. You've done it on your own. Whatever it is, whatever this is, very, very self-sufficient and very content with it. I know something is changing, but even though something is changing, I'm not dealing with it. Not purposefully. Like, the current is changing, but I'm just like, oh, then it is, and I'm just going on with what I'm doing. You're very self-sufficient, very used to being self-sufficient, very comfortable with that. So as things change around you, you're like, that's them. And you just keep doing what you're doing. I just feel like I'm just not... It's not that you're not dealing with it. I don't think that's the right way to put it. I feel like it's just like I'm not taking it seriously, maybe. Or I'm not feeling like it's going to affect me like it's affecting others. I'm not taking any action on it. And it's just, even though I know it's happening, and maybe you're not really liking it, it's kind of like, well, I got my own movement forward, and we all have to work on what we all have to work on. Excuse me. The energy is kind of heavy with this one. This part of it, anyway, because it's like, it bothers me, but I'm not really dealing with it. But at the same time, I'm not feeling like it's something I need to deal with. Because you're very used to being self-sufficient. There's something coming in, and I get that. And the structure is a little bit screwy. These two cards together are very odd together. Because you got the Hierophant, which is all about structure and things staying where they're supposed to be. Everything in its place and everything in its place. Like everything has a place and everything in its place. It's that type of energy. This Seven of Cups is like fantasies and dreams and possibilities and options, but this card and that card, they don't usually match up well. In this card, the Hierophant will usually ignore that side. Not always, but usually. There's things that are trying to solidify and trying to put what's going on around here, trying to look at all. Like, there's a lot of confusion around this. The way these two come in, it's like somebody is trying to structure confusion. trying to stabilize confusion. It's kind of like, it's trying to like build a house in a cloud. It's like, that doesn't make sense. So this might be another reason where you're just like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, what do you want me to do with that? May be part of it. Whatever this is, though, the cloud dissipates and the reality of what's actually there will show up. So when that comes forward and that cloud dissipates, then you're going to see how this is literally going to affect you. And that's coming down the line. The clouds have to part so you can see what's actually coming. That's where the healing can take effect, because whatever this is, I feel like for the longest time, I'm not thinking it's going to really affect me. Then when the clouds part, it will definitely affect you, quite notably. When those clouds are there, though, like I keep seeing the clouds on this too, there's a warning that there's going to be a problem. Will you make it through this problem? Yeah, but something needs to be addressed is what I keep getting. What are we bringing forward now? You do have things that are going to pop up. When the problem finally shows itself, be aware that the solution will show itself a little while after. The solution won't show up right away. The problem will show up first, and then a little down the road, the solution will also show itself. So they're trying to give you this kind of like, an answer will come. Are you going to like that when it first shows up? For the Four of Cups says it'll be sufficient. It'll fit the bill. You may not be a fan of it, though. It hasn't shown up yet, though. Excuse me. Information is yet to show up. Okay, that's not bad. When it first comes forward, you're not going to like what you hear. I feel like they're trying to give you a heads up about that. When it first shows up, you're not going to like what you hear. You're used to being very self-sufficient. I understand that later this goes more your way, but like, how do we get there? Like, I feel like they're saying the sooner it's addressed, the sooner you see it, the sooner you can start realigning where things need to be for your life. Because I don't like when this comes in. It doesn't matter how I want to view it. Like, if I'm going to be honest, it doesn't feel right. Like, it says surrender to the journey. Is that what that says? Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to. I'm like, no, I don't want to. It just reminds me of jobs I've had in the past where they're like, we've made this change and you're all going to have to do this now. And it's kind of like, that's not what we want to do, but it's like either do that or don't have a job here. That's just kind of how that works. That's how this feels to me. So it's kind of like, I don't want to change, but the thing is, one way or another, you either change with the job or you change in the sense of you don't do this job anymore. There's a change happening one way or another. That's how this feels. And I don't like it when it shows up. I'm just like, I don't like that. But the thing is, they're also trying to give you a heads up. The longer you stick with it, so like, if we're going to equate it to a job situation, like we're changing how we're doing things here now, either do it the new way or go or goodbye. If you do it the new way, if you go along that path, there's things you're going to figure out here. And the longer you're with it, you're going to find there's possibilities here, and there's something else that can go to your benefit. I keep looking at this like, this doesn't make sense. Whatever's changing here, it doesn't seem to make sense. And I'm just like, they're doing things differently. And like, they're showing me this one job I had where it went from like, this is what the department does, and now we're doing it. We're not doing that function anymore. uh, it's like we were making cupcakes and now we're gonna make bottles. It's kind of like, well, what? We used to make cupcakes and now we're making bottles. How did that happen? That's the drastic change that I feel. Whatever's coming up, and it's like this doesn't even make sense. Like we went from making cupcakes and now we're making bottles. Like who runs this place? Like that makes no sense. Um, that's how this feels. The thing is to realize something. There's something going on here, and it's kind of like giving it a minute here to show you what happened and why things changed the way they did. It's a really strange change is what I keep getting. A really strange change. And it's kind of like it doesn't make sense to me why we're going from making cupcakes to bottles. Like this, how did that even get in? What? Like it's kind of like, what are you talking about? But as things keep moving forward, it's like realizing, okay, oh, this company that used to own us did baked goods. The company that bought the building, that bought this site, that bought this business or whatever, they make this. They literally, that's all they do is make bottles, and that's why they bought us, to have another site for creating bottles. That was the whole point. So it's kind of like the history comes forward at some point and you realize what's going on here and you're like, okay. Then some new choices come in. There are very strict guidelines of what can and can't happen here. And the Fool coming in with the Devil card, normally I would say that's not the best idea. The Fool and the Devil, like the Devil will rip apart the Fool. The Devil has no tolerance for the Fool. Like if the Fool either gets in line and does things the way the Devil wants, or the Devil will destroy the Fool, is typically how I see that. And they're both Major Arcana energies. So like the two of these energies coming in together, like if this was two different people, I'd be kind of like, ooh, I don't know about that. If it came in with one person, I'd be like, that person's probably crazy. There's a level of optimism and structure that just like, how is that even a thing? It's a very fine line to walk through. This is something you can succeed through, but it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like very strict boundaries, but let's have a good idea. Let's have a good attitude about it. It does seem like it's a little bit crazy to me. It really does. It doesn't last forever. Things have to change because by doing things that way, they get stuck and things do not work correctly. So then they have to change again. And it goes from the Devil energy, which can talk about Capricorn, to the Chariot energy, which can talk about Cancer. Those are opposites. Those energies, that's kind of like a full moon energy. It's a little bit chaotic. Then they want to change again because that's not working, is what I'm getting. Is this going to last? Whatever this is, it is going to last. It's going to change again, though. It goes from making cupcakes to making bottles, and then it's like very strict about making the bottles, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's not going to work. So it's kind of like, is it just going to fail? Like, what's the deal? It changes again, but like, it goes from cupcakes to bottles to something else, and it's kind of like what it becomes after that seems to be more fragmented, but seems to work. So I feel like with this reading, what they're trying to give you a heads up about is like, in the beginning, you're not thinking it's going to bother you that much. You don't really like it, but it's like, well, I don't think it's going to affect me. And then in the clouds part, it's like, okay, no, definitely it's going to affect me. And then it's like, wait, what is this? Why are we doing this? This makes no sense. And then they try to force it to work, which isn't going to work. And then they change again. If you get all the way to this part, things will start working out again for you. But they're also saying, be careful, watch carefully, especially because this is a general read. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And maybe this might be a moment where it's kind of like, do I need to make more decisions? Or do I need to just ride this out? If they're saying when you get that far, it's kind of like deciding what you really need to happen. But it's like you won't really know till you get to this distance. So like a lot of times I like to look at these reads like if it was being said to me. I feel like one of these things is like if this is happening, then it's happening. This reading isn't making it happen. But they're trying to give you a heads up, like whatever's going on here, it may not look like it is going to affect you directly. It definitely will. And then they're saying just ride it out till you get to that smooth spot later. And then when you get there, you'll have accumulated a lot more information and you'll be able to make better decisions. Things will be more to your advantage down at that end of the road. And they're kind of like, just kind of roll with the punches till you get there. You should be fine. If you see what's coming and you realize that this situation is a little bit, I don't know how else to say, it's just not rational. I think it's the way I should be saying it. It's just not rational what they're doing. But once it comes to like, once it smooths out again, you'll be in a position where you can make better decisions and you'll have a lot more information to go, okay, I know how this is actually working. I know what this is now. Based on what it is, I'm going to blam, whatever you're going to do. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.